quite a character, isn't he? If you're watching this video and it is not live, you're probably going to want to click the little thingamajig after you watch this and go back and watch that video. Ben is the landlord, and God bless him, he speaks at least 2 languages. At the end of the day, what a telling, real conversation that is. Comment in the top chat on the live if you're here with us live what you learned. Who's the bad guy in all of this? Who's losing in all of this? And while we do this, I'm going to chat with you guys on this live. Many times what I do is I premiere an edited video that you haven't seen, and then at the end, we flip over to the live. The only way you will not miss these is if you subscribe and you hit the notification bell. You'll get the notification. Ben is asking, in fact, in the top chat, what did you miss? Well, you missed that, Ben, but you haven't missed much of this. What we're going to do is call some landlords. We're going to chat with you kids. Oh, I shouldn't say chat. The Fonz does not chat. There's that word again. I don't chat. We're going to talk. We're going to bullshit. We're going to step around the fireplace. Fire camp? We're going to answer your queries about laundromats, money, life, love, the pursuit of happiness, how it all relates to each other and you and me. And we're going to get into the thick of a real live laundromat call. Hopefully, the landlord answers the phone, because many times they don't. We just premiered a video where Ben didn't talk to us for 6 long months. Again, don't leave here now, but go back and watch it. It's really, really, I think, compelling and telling. Because that video outlines, a lot of you saw it, let me know if you did and what you thought of it. We made a connection with the landlord 6 months ago, and even prior to that. And he said, well, my tenant is paying on time. Go buy the laundromat from my tenant and then come back and discuss lease terms with me. Does that make sense to you guys? It might make sense to you because you think that's the way it's supposed to work. Is that how business works? Do you buy someone's existing business and then go to the landlord and negotiate a lease? No way. If you're dumb enough to do it the way everyone else does, God bless you. Imagine that you buy whatever the business is, a nail salon, a yogurt shop, an optometrist's office, a dental suite, whatever the fuck. You buy the business, then you go, it's in rented space, you don't own the dirt, it's not a freestanding building, or it is, and it's leased. You're leasing the parking lot, the parking spaces, the square footage. Just like when you see a Target next to a national chain, next to a McDonald's, rented space. A landlord owns it, a real estate investment trust owns it, someone else owns it. Hi, this is Danny. I bought a business. Can I please have a favorable lease? What's a guy like Ben gonna do? No, your rent go up. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this evergreen video, or in the live chat if you're actually on the live right this very minute. What's your experience with small business? There's a lot of piece of shit charlatans out there that are willing to tell you just to go buy a laundromat, no matter what you have to do. Get a hold of that operator and buy it from them. Seller finance, SBA loans, whatever you have to do to get that hot tub in your backyard so you can feel better about your life. Bullshit. My way is not an alternative. It's the way that I did it, and it's the way that all of my successful clients are doing it. Go to the landlord direct. Just because someone like Ben says no, he answered the phone and said, no deal, because he knows me. He saved my number. I can get into it with that guy. I'm happy to get down in the dirt with a dude like Ben or a real estate professional, anybody you put in front of me. It doesn't irk me. I don't get pissed. I don't get red-faced. I'm doing my level best to make the deal happen so that it is a symbiosis, so that everyone is benefiting from the laundromat consumer on up to your banker and your financial planner. Do you have one? I've got 3 of them. I didn't insult Ben when I said, it's not that you don't know, it's that you don't care. Very funny. As long as I get the rent. There's the name tag. Hi, my name is As Long As I Get the Rent Ben. It's a shame. He doesn't have to do anything for me or for you. He doesn't have to do anything, nor do any of them. But if you watch my 1,500 plus videos, you will see this happening again and again successfully. We're getting into the thick of it, and you guys are jumping into the top chat and asking live questions, and I appreciate it. Let's have a bit of fun and talk about what it is that we can do and how we can work together. I'm going to put a line here in the sand so we can talk. What's up, Danny? It's Paulino again. Hello, Paulino. Those that know me know that if your name is Snicklefritz84 at YouTube, just tell me your name. Nancy's saying Ben is going to lose. Ben's the loser. Well, Ben eventually is the guy who is going to realize that if he continues to churn through shit-ass operators that don't know how to run the business that he can run roughshod over, he's going to lose. I don't know if you've ever owned a residential property, high-end or otherwise. I do. You want people to move in and stay there for years. It's rare. Everyone talks about real estate. You buy a place not to flip, but to hold so that you can end up with equity. You stick a renter in there. If you're able to get away with, I don't know, $100 or $1,000 a month in rent that is above and beyond what your mortgage is, these people that are rich in real estate, they're leveraging, all right, kids? They're not owning those homes. They're allowing their renter to pay the mortgage. Even if your mortgage is $1,000 a month, would you take $800 a month in rent? You probably should. So the home and the equity that you're building is only costing you $200. Yes, it's nice when the renter can afford to give you $1,100 for that home because you've got cash flow of $100 per month. Easy stuff. But the reality is you can't pencil that out over 30 years and say, well, this is how much I'm going to earn. Try not to be an idiot, because the reality is that guy might stick with the 1-year lease. He might leave after a year. He might want to re-sign with you. Maybe you're busy, you don't re-sign. You find out that they left after a year and 3 months and you didn't get 3 months rent. Now you're going in and recarpeting, repainting, spending more money. And this can churn every year. Your ideal goal is to have a little old lady who wants to live there forever, but nobody lives forever. Kill shot. I'm getting pretty good at my buttons. We are doing this with laundromats. It is no secret. We are finding the right and appropriate deal by talking to landlords. And Ben is the kind of guy that just, ha ha ha, no deal. That store might end up being one of my clients within a month, a year, a decade, when Ben is without a good operator. And right now, those folks probably spent 300 grand on the business with old ass equipment, and now they're realizing they're not really making money because the P&Ls were false. Sad. Mahuya's back. He says, I'm butchering your name, I'm sure of it. Hi, Danny. Born in New York City. How did you end up in Arizona? I was a sickly kid. I had bronchitis, which is a wet lung disease. And back in the day, the doctors used to say, get your kid somewhere dry. My grandparents had visited here. They went to the Grand Canyon, and off we went. My parents must have loved me. We moved here, went from a wet lung disease, bronchitis, to a dry lung disease. I immediately got childhood asthma, which I grew out of, luckily. I don't think the Navy takes asthmatics. I love Arizona. It's not just where I'm at, where I'm close to. I own a penthouse in Mexico. I could leave now and be there in 4 hours. Got shit in the closet, including beer in the fridge. I'm ironically 4 hours from Vegas if I drive, 40 minutes if I fly. There's a ski area in Arizona. You guys know that? Top of Aspen, top of the Cirque, 11,400 feet. The top of Flagstaff, Arizona is 11,200. Good skiing here when it snows. Great place to live. Great place to own land. I've got 150 plus acres up north near Williams. Private shooting facility. We have a lot of fun. It's fantastic. Lee says, woo, woo, woo. And you know it. Danny's the man. In my Ric Flair voice. Okay, got it. The nature boy. Woo. Lindsay, especially in a laundromat where you can't just pick up and leave, the landlord has you by the balls at that point. They don't. They will never have you by the balls because at the inception of this, you do it right. Now, with these folks, what we learned in that video, everybody's balls are out on the chopping block, sadly. Edward says, who's the loser here? The landlord is the loser, and he's also constantly dealing with the same headaches with tenants. He's either looking for self-harm or doesn't know how to explain it. Correct. And then he apologizes because he didn't say hello. Hi, Ed. How am I? Never felt better, never had more. You know that. Jay wants to know, what role do you play if someone signs up with you? Well, Jay, I don't know if this is a setup, but I don't do role playing. Try not to be an idiot. I will call you an idiot. No, just kidding. What role do I play? Very little, unless you want to move forward and further. I'm a consultant. I'm not here to sell you or anybody anything. But Jay, if you're serious about doing this, I'll let everybody else tell you where to start. I'm not here to sell you anything. I don't do this for money. I do this because of my absolute hatred for the industry standard, which is go out and buy someone's failed business and then realize that you have to sink tons of money into it. Not before. There's no inspection. There's no period where you can find out if they're really making money. Because in any good scam, there is greed, not only on the side of the con artist, but predominantly on the side of the mark. If the mark isn't greedy, the scam won't work. If you start believing that laundromats are like picking up gold out of the streets, you'll go out and do whatever you have to buy one. Because you're going to continue to go to your work at the JOB and stamp stamps and fill out TPS reports and do whatever it is the hell you do, and have a laundromat and all you do is pick up cash. Not true. Tell Jay, guys that are on here, ones with experience, what he needs to do first. My eventual role, you can hire me to consult, just to talk to you, just to see what your story is. And people who have consulted with me on this particular live, they know. It's nothing like you think it will be, because I'm here to truly serve you. Trying to get a little bit ahead here, which I shouldn't do. I've been consulting for 21 years now. Can't find an ill word about me for good reason. The biggest compliment people give me, and here's the whole Danny spiel now, is that I'm real. Well, I don't know any other way. I'm not here reading a script. I'm here to look into your eyes through this screen, tiny or otherwise, and tell you the truth about this industry, this business, the good, the bad, and the hideous. We have a non-hostile takeover in leased space where there's hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure existing. Then we go to the distributors, have them fight over your business, and with a 0% loan, we fill the place with new equipment. Rinse, and repeat. Keep asking your questions, kids, each and every one of you. Keep asking your questions. Let's call our friend Hender. You all know what he's going to say. Let's hear it in the
Donnie D.
I can tell by the emphasis on the syllables exactly how happy you are, how big the Danny D is. How's the family?
Doing okay, Donnie. We're trying to stay strong and healthy.
Good. God bless. All right, I'm looking at your Google document. We sent a canned email to Rob, and this particular laundromat, you talked to the doctor who has an office there in the little strip mall, and he said that he's seen about 14 different operators in a period of 20 years. Isn't that interesting?
Yep, right after the other, I guess.
Selling it over and over. And this goes back to that false flag that you hear from the Coin Laundry Association and others. Laundromats have a 95% success rate. Love it. I love the cleverness of that lie. I love it. Because this laundromat, if you drove by it at 100 miles an hour, all you would see is an open sign, right?
Correct.
That's success. That's 95% success. But what you don't know is that hot donut sign not only has remained on, but the individuals who are paying the bill to keep the sign on are 14 plus. So to me, in the last 20 years, that's at least 13 failures. And we just had a video where the landlord admitted that he doesn't care what goes on with his tenants as long as he gets the rent. And every time they churn through another tenant and one of these operators sells the business to the next unsuspecting slob, he raises the rent. And it may not seem real to people that your rent should go down. It's called a reset, but it does. And the landlords know it, I know it, and now you know it. You reset the lease. It's not like an apartment or trying to afford a brownstone in New York. It's not the same. The good landlords want to give you a leg up and allow you to make money. All right, without further ado, you know me, I don't remember all this here shit. So what went on with this? Is this the guy that we're calling?
Yes, that's the guy we're calling.
Okay. I sent him an email. Where was it left? What did he say?
So he said, oh, I'm going to take a look at what's going on there or what the guy is doing or not doing. let me just take a look at some paperwork. So we gave him like 2 weeks, and now we're gonna reach out back again to see what he has to say.
Okay. The typical landlord's agent that probably really doesn't know what's going on, because until they get tapped on the shoulder that this guy's no longer paying rent or that it's vacant and they want to lease it, they usually don't know what's going on. They don't really have much of an understanding. You know, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So they deal with empty space or tenants that are on their way out. And frankly, landlords don't want to boot people out. It's a big pain in the neck. It's better if they leave willingly or they sell the business to the next person. That's common. And now you've got a guy that's hundreds of thousands in, that's gung-ho, ready to run the business, whatever it is. All right, so we're going to call this guy back. Hopefully he has received my email and read it, and we will actually have a conversation. But this is all about, hey, what'd you find out? Let's call him up. Stand by. That's the number, right? Did
Yes.
I highlight? Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's the office where he owns a real estate office, I guess.
All right, stand by. Hey, this is Danny for Rob. Correct.
Something is regarding like something you were looking to lease.
Yeah, it's commercial space. I've got his email. Do you have a better number?
No, this is the number. I can forward you to George. It's just that Rob is just not in today.
No, that's fine. I've been
Or
dealing
if you want to call back,
with Rob, and
yeah, if you want to call
sure,
back,
I'll make sure. Yeah,
forward
I'll
you
make
over.
sh-
He just took the rest of the day
I'll
off
make sure
earlier.
I don't blame him. I'll make sure I get his cell phone number next time I talk to him. You can't give
Yeah,
out his cell?
yeah, no problem. No, we don't give
I
that
thought
out
I
unless
thought
he
he was I
you know
thought he's
does it.
been out of
Once
this
he does,
thought he's been out of the CIA for a while.
no, he's still
Sense
here
of
with us.
humor. All right,
Yeah, so
bye.
just a call.
Yeah, blah blah blah. It's unfathomable to me, but I'm very, very used to it in 20 plus years doing this. Uh, no. He's a realtor. We can't give out his cell phone number. And you know, a lot of my clients, like you dig a little deeper. You've got his email address. You know where he works. We start digging in, and we find the cell phone number. It's like gold. Well, when I talk to these guys, I just have to remember next time. Hey, what's your cell? They give it to you reluctantly. You know why they don't want you to have their cell phone number?
Why?
Because if and when you do become a client, ergo a tenant, if something goes wrong, they don't want to be bothered. They don't want you calling them and saying the water is leaking or the roof's leaking or the toilet's leaking. That's all about the leaks. They don't want to be bothered. They want to do the job and get on with it. So you just have to be powerful when you're on the phone with them and empowered and say, hey, here's my cell. What's yours? The only number that we do business with. Okay. Next on our list is this.
Kind of make sure that look, we're still alive. We around. Want to know what's going on? Couple more machines are out of service, and place is
Okay.
dirty as you wouldn't believe. So
No one knows better than you, Hender, how this process works. The process is fairly simple, but we need to continue to push and talk and be in these landlords or their agents' faces. It's hard. It's so frustrating because they really don't care. Now, the landlords themselves care a little more. They're more passionate. Like the call that I just did. Did you watch that or no?
yeah, I got the live a little bit later. I'm gonna watch it
Okay.
later.
Yeah, it's a good one. It really is. Because I just get the guy talking. And he admits to why he didn't answer the phone for 6 months. He admits that he has my number saved in his phone because the first thing he said when he answered, "No deal." That's nice. Okay. Yeah, he answered the fucking phone. "No deal." Chinese guy. Oh, all right. Thanks, man. You know, that's rude. It doesn't upset me. I get it. And then he goes on to say, they sold the laundromat. And I raised the rent. So I'm happy as long as I get paid. Excellent. All right. So my
It's so interesting how his tone of voice is going to be different. Eventually when hopefully that guy is not there, and then or that can afford the rent, because he hit the reality that it's just not as easy as it is.
Exactly. Like I talked about in this scenario where you rent a residential property, at first it's great. Hey, I'm getting some cash flow. I want to charge them $500 over my mortgage so I can get cash flow. But then those people can't afford it and they leave. Maybe it's smarter to charge where your mortgage is, or a bit less, to maintain that real estate and others. And eventually, when you have 10 properties and you're charging everybody $300 more than your mortgage and you're making cash flow, it becomes a full-time vocation because you're constantly churning through tenants. So understand what's best for you, what you really want to do. These guys, if that's all they do is go hammer tenants, okay, maybe we'll never have a deal. But you're right, it is funny how their tone changes. That guy's curse me out, and years later pick up the phone and pretend like nothing ever happened. That's fine. Let's do a deal. All right, we're trying to call Don.
Correct.
Okay.
Donald.
And Don knows us. We've talked in the past. This is just a poke to see what's going on, because
Correct.
the store is not going in the right direction. All right, stand by. What do we say to people when we hear the telephone ringing, Hender?
Mute the phone.
Subscribe.
Now.
Subscribe. Where are you going to get this kind of live entertainment elsewhere? Nowhere. I have a mute button that I press, so no info.
Finance loan. Please leave your name and number, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.
All right, Hender. Sometimes I make I make 1,000 decisions a day, and sometimes a small decision is something that I do for my own property, my own real estate, my own thought process. I'm not going to leave him a message because he knows who we are. Hopefully he saved my number. I know that we've emailed one another, and I feel like a conversation is what we want to have, a very casual conversation. Hey, Don, what's going on? Let's see if we can get something done. If I leave him a message and then another message, it's sort of, he already knows who we are. I leave tons of messages, but I don't feel that it's right for this guy at the moment. So if we end up calling him in a couple of weeks, great, and he picks up. But beyond that, it's just my gut feeling. There's certain, you know what I mean? It's like the old dating scene. It's not always right to seem desperate. Hender, I love you. I appreciate you. I'm dealing with, 8 clients right now, and probably 9 by the end of the day, who are retooling. And so hopefully we're going to get Rebecca on and talk to her about her retool, which you have done. And I can't tell you, I appreciate your time very much. God bless. We'll talk soon. Send me a text if you need anything.
Love you, brother.
Gracias, amigo. Adios. Hi.
Ciao.
Bye.
Ay, malvadito.
Oh, my goodness. Don't try to be my friend, I said to my own children. And I'm saying it to you. If you become a friendly client, great. Let's get on to your comments, everybody. All right, I put these little X's across the thing so that I can see what you guys have to say. And now we're back. We have our place setter. Sorry, I do all this myself. Trying to find my spot. All right, so this guy's YouTube handle is, I wonder where that road goes. Oh, he gave me his name, Brian. Thanks, Brian. Hey, Danny, no questions here, just here to absorb some wisdom. Well, Brian, I hope that you'll get some somewhere from somebody, and maybe me, not sure. Feel free to ask queries if you have them. That goes for all of you. Eric says, I guarantee you got his attention when you told him you hoped he had a lot of insurance. It's true, Eric. I'm just saying to this landlord what he needs to be doing. It's truly a gut punch, and it's very sad when these folks churn through business owners, not caring how a lot of these people are going into debt. They're going into heavy debt in order to own these businesses. And that's a gamble, sure. But they're going into debt buying someone else's business rights. You follow? And it happens again and again, 14 times in the case of this other store. Good debt, you've heard of it. Good debt is not a 35-foot speedboat. It's not. Maybe it's good for your mental health. We could argue it. It's not, unless you own a speedboat company. Then you're writing it off. But I digress. Good debt is leasing a space, a laundromat, ending up with hundreds of thousands for free. The gas, water, electric, the necessary ancillary items and others that it takes to build a laundry, but you're not building it. The good debt is on the equipment, that you get at the right, proper price. Dionysus Cryonesis, yo, Dennis, saw the video, the last one, so cruel that landlords are willing to go from one bad tenant to another. Caveat emptor, right? I think that's French. They don't care. Simon from Australia, purchased the course, watching it 3 times. Amazing information, thank you. Well, thank you, Simon. Thanks for saying that. That means a lot. Paulino, start with the course. It's worth it. Thank you. Again, it's not my job to sit on here and try to sell you anything. Wayne says, Danny, I'm dividing. I don't know what that means, Wayne. Are you a cell that is splitting? Hi, Danny. Tommy from Connecticut. Got another live. Well, you did it, Thomas. We're all very proud. Smokehouse. Hey, what's up, Danny? Bought your silly course. I've watched it several times. That's usually what people do. They watch it, and then they immediately start watching it again. Because it's like drinking from a fire hose, as I heard from one client. I'm not here to try to give you one piece of information over and over in 7 languages. I'm here to tell you and teach you the everything. That's what I hope to do. That's why we're constantly adding to the silly course. Wayne says, Danny, I'm out scouting, going through the course again and again, plus watching your videos. Also, it's great to catch another live. Get the course, people. Thank you, Wayne. Lindsay wants to ask 0% down and 0% interest, too good to be true or realistic expectation from distributors as of late? I know anything is possible, but just curious at what point are their pencils sharpened enough? Here's the thing. This is real. And if you go back over time, look, of course it's real and more than possible and probable. It's happening. I think I did the last live a couple of weeks ago. If you're seeing something that's weeks or months old and you think you're different, you need qualifications to do anything, right? To fly a plane, to mail a stamp, to mail a letter, That qualification is having the stamp and having the knowledge. Where do you put your address? Where do you put the return address? Kids these days don't know. To own a business and to get a loan. And the biggest qualifier for this proper loan is having a long-term lease in place, because that puts the distributors on notice. You're about to pull the trigger on equipment. They either sell it to you or they don't. You're going to their competitor. What do you think they're going to do? That's it. That's all. Guys, this isn't a huge banner that says 0%. They don't have to give you a certain percentage. It doesn't have to be an advertised rate. That's what you don't understand. Do you only go buy a car when you see a commercial that says $9,000 off of sticker price or 0%? Guess what? It's both. It's a clever lie that's being told by the automaker. The price isn't dependent on your percentage rate or vice versa. I want to pay $500 over invoice for this vehicle. I don't need a test drive. I don't need you to get all the salesmen out and do a bunch of hoopla. Let's get this deal done in 45 minutes. Is it plausible? You can call and ask. Yeah. Come on in. See if you're real. Let's press the flesh. Get that deal on the price. By the way, give me 0%. Done. It's not one or the other. Dark Defender, I like that name. Turnover on tenants equals not fun. Correct. Correct. And he retracted his other message, whatever it was. Oh, I want to know. Ben says, how long do you think you'll keep doing this? Oh, God, forever. I love it. I really do. Good question. As long as there's breath in my lungs. Dark Defender, what's your name? I'm not going to keep calling you Darth Vader. In your course, Danny, you mentioned 10 to 15 leading indicators of failure. I may have missed those in the course. I know that it's a lot to discuss here, but would you be able to speak on some, please? You're looking for shitty laundromats. There's a payphone there. Some of these indicators, you don't need a checklist, man. The one I retrieved, Clay is his name. Thank you, Clay. So good to be talking to you in real time. See how this works, kids? It's not about having a checklist. When you walk in, you're going to smell the fact that they haven't cleaned the lint traps in 20 years. You'll smell it. Out of order sign. It's all the normal stuff, man. Some of the things you may not understand, no signs. No sitting on the machines, no children allowed. Swear to God, I've seen it. I've seen both. Anything that irks you or pisses you off as a potential consumer is a negative. The leaky ceiling is a weird one. Let me give this tidbit away. Why does a leaky ceiling, where you see those hung ceiling tiles, completely disgusting, and if it's raining, there's water on the floor coming through the roof? If it's not raining, those tiles are stained. Why does that matter? Why is that an indication of failure? Because, guys, what you don't know about commercial real estate, the landlord is responsible for the roof. What does that mean? If there's indications of a leaking roof, that tenant is scared to death to pick up the phone and call the landlord for anything. Hey, my roof is leaking like a sieve. Well, fuck you, you're 6 months late on rent. Kill shot. Little things like that are what I talk about, of course, that are indications of failure. The biggest indication of failure, broken equipment. When you see duct tape on a washer or a dryer, you can tell it's been there for months, if not years. That's not one of those cute little tags that says, sorry, I'm out of order. X amount of equipment will be broken in any store. I would get brand new equipment installed, and 2 days later, something's not functioning because it wasn't installed correctly, or something burns out on a brand new machine. They come and fix it and take care of it. I lost my place. P.S., says Clay, I paid for someone else's course, and yours is much more to the point. Well, what did you learn from that other person? Real question. Then he says, the one I retracted had a bunch of LOLs in it. You do know me, Clay. You know I cannot stand the LOL, and Clay is not a 14-year-old girl's name. Migadri. What point do you think about the world's largest laundromat located in Chicago, 13,500 square foot, 300 machines, which happens to have a child play area and an aviary? What do I think about it? I don't. Got you. Thanks. I'm very smart, says Clay. I'm not very smart, just good looking. I get the joke. Ha ha. LOL. Try not to be an idiot. Never known a Clay that wasn't good looking, by the way. Good for you. Eric is Smokehouse's actual name. Can I make any money on an old school downed mat with only room for 18 washers? I know that the course says 25, but I think he's willing to talk. So what? He, the landlord or his agent, I hope not the operator, he is willing to talk because you can't put a McDonald's in a walk-in closet and you can't make money with 18 washers. It's not worth the effort. There has to be a cutoff somewhere. What this other individual taught Clay, he says, is how to get organized and look for laundromats on Google Maps, which I knew from you. That's a non-starter. See? So what you're telling me that you learned from this dipshit is ignorance. It's a non-starter for us, but what do they teach? What did you learn? Are they telling you to go buy a laundromat? Let me wait for your answer. I know that they are. Utterly preposterous. I don't care who it is. I don't care how tall or fat they are. It doesn't really matter. It's sad stuff. We expect it, guys. We expect to spend $28 on a book and spend 8 hours reading it and maybe cull one bit of information. We expect to buy some person's course and not learn a thing. We expect it. So when that happens, we're not disappointed. Clay, I'm with you. He says, yeah, they said to buy a laundromat. Great. Who would sell a successful cash business? Eric says it makes sense. I passed it again today and then caught the live. It's been closed for years. If it's been closed for years and they want to talk to you, it's because it's never going to make any money. When you become a client, you'll text me when you have questions, when we're going to get on the telephone, etc., because otherwise my phone would go nuts. I don't have another phone. This isn't a fake phone. This is it. This is the number that my wife sends me pictures on. The phone that I use to talk to you guys, it's easy. Everyone's so afraid, including these realtors. Eric says, yeah, he drove by it again. See, that's why you're infatuated with this store, Eric, because it's shut down. The preponderance of the stores that we take over through this non-hostile process are operating poorly with old equipment and poor procedures, but they're operating. Don't think just because it's shut down, it's a good deal. It's been shut down for years because people that know good laundries have looked at it and said, not large enough, the footprint's too small. That landlord should get rid of the equipment if it's still there, get rid of all of the infrastructure if it's still there, and rent it to someone else and move on. Megadri, when you owned your laundries, what was the capacity of the change machines? The more, the better. And if your capacity is low, which it shouldn't be, on the Hamiltons that I used, redundancy. I don't think you've seen the course because we talk about redundancy. Within one changer that has one 110 plug, you want to make sure you have at least 2 hoppers, 2 bill validators. And I had stores with 4 of those, so 8 hoppers and 8 bill validators. The longer you want to stay away, the more capacity that you need. No big deal. The quarters become tokens because we don't use tokens. All of the things that everyone thinks they need to do in order to run an absentee laundromat is bullshit. Overly Grateful is this individual's YouTube name, and he, she, they, them, I can't tell if it's a woman, says, my name's Darwin. Remember REM? Great band. Rem, my name. We will meet soon. I love everything you're doing. Thank you for all your YouTube videos. You the man. Thank you. I got scared there when he said we'll meet soon. I thought maybe there was a sniper in the parking lot. Luis says, hey, Danny, restructuring the scouting so we can start making calls. Good man. Eric says, thanks for keeping me from making bad decisions. Well, when it comes to your personal life, buddy, I'm an enabler. Let's blow some shit up. And that's the thing about these laundromats, the heartache and the heartbreak in the universe telling you to do whatever you have to do to go out and buy one. I'll put a link in the description to the previous video that led into this live. Go watch it. Clay says, do you ever do lease to owns if it's a standalone location? No. A standalone, you mean the dirt. Well, it wouldn't matter if it's standalone, dude. I ended up owning strip malls. My exit included the sale of strip malls, so why? Doesn't need to be standalone. You get to know the landlords pretty well. You get to know their team pretty well, especially when you're a good tenant and they see that from afar. Most of these very small mom and pop landlords, they want to take your triple nets or help you out with taxes as long as you're willing to do some sweat equity and go paint the building. I was never that guy. I was like, no, I don't want to paint the building. I'll let the sandwich shop guy do that. I'll happily give you the ducats. They learn what you're about. They see the vehicles that you drive. Oh, the laundromat guy is rich. Do you ever do lease to own? Yes, we are certain with every lease we sign that we have a first right of refusal so that they can't legally sell the strip mall or the standalone building until they come to you as a tenant and ask you if you would like to buy it. Well, not at that price, but let me know if you get an offer. And if it's a real offer, you can match it or offer more or less. It's a great way to be on a property ladder. Also, the laundromat I want freaks me out when I drive by at night. It's a stupid question, but I guess I should pass. No, Clay, no. You will literally never, ever find yourself at that laundromat after dark if you don't want to be. Never. This isn't 1919. You don't need to go in there with a butt of a rifle or a hickory stick and beat people's ass, brother. I'm wondering if you've seen the course. Never, ever, ever do you need to go to that laundromat after dark. You sign a right to trespass with the local PD. You look at your camera system. You see a knucklehead doing knucklehead shit. You get them drug out and beat with sticks. And you're not the one doing the beating. Silly. You're going to let something like that keep your handsome ass from doing this? Don't. Eric says, I've also got my eyes on an old Maytag setup. I think Maytag built the store. You'll see the sign. Always says that. Are they company owned still? No, they're gone. Will they talk? Bro, the landlord or their agent. Get the silly course, consult with me. Eric, if you've seen it, get my phone number. All right, that goes for all of yous, the crybabies and the quiet ones. Try not to be an idiot. Spend a few bucks, get my phone number. It's that simple. I'll email you the same day, my wireless number, and we'll be on the phone. Clay says, nice, thanks, you're welcome. I've seen the course, but only once. It's like drinking from a fire hose. But kill shot. I know. And that's why most people go watch it again. I have another video I'm adding to it. I just haven't gotten around to it. And that's why it's a stream now. We don't have to send you a DVD in the mail, for God's sake. It's 107 hours, I believe, at this point. Don't freak out. Most of it are really good edited landlord calls. The meat and potatoes is 3 hours. And there's quizzes and stuff like that. You can hang out. Listen, there's 47 of yous on here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I really do. You hear people that are fans that are saying, oh my God, I caught a live. So if you haven't subscribed, do that, because then you won't miss the lives. Do that for you. I'm selfish. Don't do it for me. Do it for you. Be selfish. Feel free. We're not done. Rebecca is a nurse. She got her free laundromat. Dealing with a client who's trying to send an LOI and another client who's trying to send an LOI. We know Rebecca. We have heard Rebecca. We are probably going to go to Rebecca's store. Let's see what Rebecca's doing. Might not be happening. She's probably busy because she's a nurse.
Hi, you've reached Rebecca.
Yep. I had a feeling. All right, so stay tuned, boys and girls. I'd like to ask you guys to do me a favor. If you enjoy this kind of content, blah, blah, fucking blah. We're so used to everybody saying the same shit, right? When I hear myself spewing pap like that, I stop. Eric says, thanks, babe. I'm working on calling you. Well, thanks, babe. Avery says, hi, do you know Isla? I don't even know what that word is. Is that a person? Take the time, write a couple sentences. All right, I'm going to let you pick, Clay. What do we want folks to comment when I burn down this video? What do we want them to put in the comment section on the evergreen permanent video that gets everybody else scratching their heads because they're like, what? What are they talking about? What is it? Ben says, Dunny D, that's me. Ben does a pretty good impression. We got 3 plates spinning, kids. We've got, she wrote it again, Isla. Is that a person? Is that a place? Somebody help me out. Is that an I? It's got to be an I. Now she wrote L-I-A, Leah. Frank, check your voicemail. I do 3 times a day. Do you know Leah? Ela, I-L-A. Does anybody know what she's talking about? Clay, please tell me you haven't left. I'm giving you the reins. Ben, I'll let you do it too. All right, Noah's here. It's a name. Avery, why would you be asking me if I know somebody named Leah Isla spelled 4 different ways? What are you talking about? I don't know. Probably not. Isla, what are you doing? So odd. Oh my. Are you trying to get me to say something silly? Let's see if I can get Noah to say something silly. Oh, Noah, your calls are failing.
Rebecca
Yo, yo, yo.
Hi, sorry I missed your call.
You're in the car.
I am in the car, yes.
Be careful. All right.
I am. Traffic.
Keep in mind we're live, so don't curse like you do, like a sailor. What can I help you with, my dear?
Okay. I have a few questions regarding infrastructure. So as it stands right now, the gas lines above the dryers are pretty low to the ground. So right now, all they can really accommodate is 30s, and I don't really want to just only do 30s. So I don't know how big of an issue it is to raise up the gas lines. I've had distributors and contractors come out and say it's not that big of a deal, but
No,
I
it's
just
not.
wanted to get
Not a
your
big
thought.
deal.
Okay.
You don't want, now
Okay.
look, every one of these guys is going to tell you the same thing. They all want to do the same thing that they've ever done, right? I mean, my kitchen sink, I have 2 heads on my sink. Why? Because I want it that way. Because I have experience. Because you don't need a separate sink. You need 2. What do you call, not the sink, but the head, the thing,
Spray nozzle?
the spray nozzle, the faucet. Got 2 faucets.
Yeah.
One's the great big, thing with a spring on it, and then the one right next to it is just a normal one. And it's great because if the wife is doing something or the kids are doing dishes, you can come up and use the sink. It's great. One of them barely gets used, the one with the big spray. It's just different. It's just a different way to do something. So why does every laundromat faucet, thank you, Clay. Where the fuck have you been? So
Don't curse, you're live.
I don't care. So every distributor will put a row of 30-pound stacked tumblers and 2 50s. What
Yeah.
you should be doing is all 45s, all of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they're agreeable to that. They're just saying, hey, with what you have in place right now, they just don't fit. You need to raise the gas lines. And I'm like, okay, well.
It's black pipe. So at the end of the run, have them bring the black pipe up. It's inexpensive, and run it all the way across.
Okay.
And then your yellow bendy connections will all be in the right place. Yeah, that's a couple $100.
Okay. My other question is, so like you said, called all the distributors, 2 didn't show up, so we're down to 3. One of the distributors is saying if you want to have our 45s, you need different electrical than what you have now. The other 2 companies, it's okay with the vent size. I think it's 8-inch vents, and it's okay with the electrical you have there. So if I was going to go with this other company, it would require changing all the vents out, which, mind you, I don't have a single story. My laundromat, it's a 2-story shopping center, so that is a whole can of worms to try to change the vent size. And then running and getting 220 or whatever the electrical is that they're requiring for their larger dryers.
Probably 3-phase.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
send me the email and make sure that I know if it is in fact 3-phase, because we're also talking about saving energy, therefore saving money. I need to know a little bit more about what that difference is. Now, If you have to go with 30s, you go with 30s depending. The most important thing is the price of this equipment, and sadly, 2 of the distributors just didn't show up.
Yep.
You weren't surprised though, were you? I told you that happens.
It's true.
When you ask for all of them to come to give you a price for over $100,000 worth of equipment so they can feed their families, you know why they didn't show up, 2 of them? Because they already know that you're talking to others that are going to get the bid. You don't even care.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that weren't going to do business with you anyway. It's sad, but true. Or they don't have the bandwidth to do more than one store at a time, and they've already got a deal going. You don't want a contractor that says, well, we can get to work the week before Christmas, even though it's July. You want a contractor that says, oh, I've got 100 employees and I can hire 100 more if I get more work. That's a good business person.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me
Now,
look.
between you and me and YouTube, does raising the gas up, doing the venting, that all requires probably a different permitting process.
Yeah,
I would imagine.
everything requires permits, and you just need to tell these guys, say, hey, when I take my washer at home and switch it out for a new washer, I don't call the city. You know what? If you do call the city, I guarantee they'll say, oh, well, you can't do that without a permit. And out they come to give you a permit or to tell you that you need to stop work. So at the end of the day, they will understand when you say to them, hey, I'm not really into notifying anybody. The last thing you want is a really good Chinese restaurant right next to your laundromat, because that's where all the permit guys are going to hang out at least once a week. And just let them know. I'm not saying to do anything illicit or illegal, obviously, but between you and me and YouTube, the less permitting, the better. So let them know that that is the way that you feel, because all they're going to do is try to glom on. And we're not even there yet, because you need to get all of the pricing correct. And then that's when you let them know, oh, I've got all of your prices. All the pudding comes in with the contractors and the additional ancillary items and all that stuff. So when you tell them, oh, I like these prices, these are good, but I'm going to have my own plumbers and my own electrician install everything, ooh, shit hits the fan. But they can't do anything about that. That bid is legal and binding.
Yeah. Scratch the installation.
Are you sleeping at night?
I am.
Good. It's exciting.
We're starting the empire, just like Hender.
So, what else?
Hender and Joe. I think that's it. That was my only concern, was just like, should I even bother with this other company if I have to make so many changes? The vent size needs to be 10 inches instead of 8 inches. It just sounds like too big.
Yeah, well,
it's
a bigger capacity, and you know, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It might not make sense to go forward with larger capacity drying. So again, much of this is dependent on what you want to do. The price difference for you between 30s and 45s is nominal. It's not really a big deal. So that's why I always like to go with the 45s, because then you don't need 250s. And then everyone says, oh my God, I love this place because the dryers are so big. That's all the consumer sees.
Yeah. And I mean, technically, he said that the 75, like if I want to do a couple of 75-pound machines, that wouldn't require any adjustments. I could have 30s and I could have a couple of 75s. So that's an option. I just wasn't sure, because I know we want to do all 45s.
Don't let them sell you 75-pound washers or dryers unless you're running a prison laundry.
Okay. No 80s. No 80s or 90s.
No. All right. Drive safe. Don't be a stranger. Anything you need, just text me.
Thank you.
Thanks, kid. We will be doing a video. All right, Noah, you win. I have no idea what this lunatic is writing over and over and over and over and over and over, whether or not I know this person. I don't. So maybe I've given you an answer. Maybe we're going to get the punchline now. What I want to hear from you guys in the comment section, not the top chat, not the live chat, but in the comments, which is one of my working clients' ideas. What don't you care about? Write it in double negatives. Let us all know. And the fun part about this, kids, when someone goes to watch this video on YouTube, because it's not going to be live any longer, you probably do this, they go straight to the comment section and they start reading comments as they're listening and watching. And they can be like, why is everybody talking about what they don't care about? And I myself will comment that as well. Clay says, I recently used a laundromat. I had zero idea what the sizes were. You wouldn't know, but you know big. I had customers who would like to put their designer jeans in one dryer, no matter how big it was, no matter how much it cost. They just didn't want them in with other clothes, their own clothes. Maybe that makes sense to someone. I don't know. Let's do a countdown, and you guys are all going to go. It's a little bit of an effort. You've got to go from here into my channel, subscribe, and then find this brand new live video. I know it's a real pain. Here, I'll give you a link. I think I can give you a link. Hold on. Let me see if I can. That's what I should start doing. Start giving you guys a link. Okay, let's see if this works. There's the link. I don't know. Do you want it to be laundromat related or just any old thing we don't care about? Don't care. Any old thing. Appreciate you guys. See if that link works. Go comment. Kaboom. Appreciate each and every one of you. Do it. I want to see 50 comments. Make me proud.